Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Shout out to S Jacques for when he came to on the Cash App, and also shout out to him for keeping me abreast of some of the events that have been occurring lately. One of them is that in Haiti, apparently now the guns are more available to gang members, and gang members are in larger number than the Jamaican police, the Haitian police, and the Kenyan police all put together. So they're more in number and they've got more weapons. That's amazing. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not saying it's positively amazing, but it's a lot, and that's bothersome. Additionally, and this tells me that we already know this is by design. This is how somebody set that up. This is a reminder to us of what they're going to do every single time that they can. The other thing is that in Durham County, North Carolina, Darius Tyson, who is supposedly the top ranking blood gang member in the entire state, was convicted of a murder, and then it was overturned, and he was never retried. And then, to make matters worse, while he's locked up now, he apparently has impregnated a guard and a nurse. And then another nurse brought in a cell phone. So now with these new accusations, he's had to be moved. Okay, so he got someone to bring him in a cell phone. Now the accusations say that that's how he's gotten drug deals done. I don't know how big a deal. I don't know how true it is. Sorry for yawning. Chaos Rain, you're right that I shouldn't be yawning, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't just decide not to yawn, unfortunately. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. But so our man's Darius Tyson has shown, and he's not really denying. His lawyer said he can't give consent. He's a detainee, so he's the one that's been assaulted. But what this does is it reinforces to us the hybristophilia of the bigger niche. That's a spoonerism of the hyena. So if you have sisters that don't have this particular mindset and this way of thinking, that's well and good, but we have to understand that it's too common, and that you have already enough sisters that have confessed to and admitted that the reasons that they don't go into corrections jobs is because they would wind up like this guard or this nurse. They seek to get, there are sisters who seek these corrections jobs because, one, it gives them power over brothers. But then the other reason too is because, well, frankly, as far as they're concerned, that's where it's at. And there is no reason at all to seek out any men that are free, unchained, uncellbound, because the way they see it, if you're a real man and you're black, you're locked up. Now, what this means, number one, is that they do understand the attack on black masculinity. That's there. But they also don't understand what masculinity is. The kind of masculinity or manhood for which you are not locked up, to them does not count. They're looking for machismo. They do understand that whites and white supremacy have a particular reaction to black machismo or masculinities, just black testosterone in general. Not that testosterone is different. I don't even know if testosterone is different between humans and other primates, or between humans and canines. I don't even know if it's that different, but they do have a reaction to testosterone in black men. Evidence of it. Be it machismo, masculinity, or outright manhood, it's the same for them. They have a reaction, but what they can lock you up for is the machismo, the gun-toting, the knuckle-dragging, the robberies, struggle snuggles. They know this. They understand this. So there's a part of them that wants to sit up and say, well, you know, the real alpha men are in prison. This is something that is not unique to Black America. Even in Sudan, where the people are generally very nice and where they're known to be very honest, because they faced being locked up. I mean, they faced being colonized by the Brits a long time ago. They initially were facing a wave of colonization. And in this colonization, there were battles. And there's a proverb to this day that the women like to say that the real men died in some battle that happened in the 1800s. They're pretty much saying that no real men are left in Sudan after that battle. That if you were a real man, you went there and then the British killed you. That's what they're saying. Like, even though it happened in the 1800s, you couldn't possibly be a real man because you're still alive. Oh, that's not all. That's also where they have a particular tribe that has this really impossible ritual for the men to qualify to be men and to qualify to be married. And the women emotionally white-mail the men into this. And it involves jumping over a standing adult cow whose back is covered with boo-boo. So if you slip, you get covered in boo-boo and crap in the first place. You're supposed to be able to jump over the cow. So it's not about really your true manhood, it's just about your physical prowess. And your sisters and wives actually flog themselves when you're younger to emotionally white-mail the males into going through this ritual. Oh no, you have to do this for the women in your family. So the women in your family emotionally white-mail their black male relatives into having to jump over standing cows whose backs are covered with boo-boo to qualify to marry and dig out somebody else. And if you miss it, you can't try again for another year. Now they flog themselves, the women will flog themselves. That's not really a feat of strength, it's a feat of will. Now we know there's a point past which no human being injures themselves. Anyway. So you take men that get involved in violence and associated with violence and acts of violence, and they rise amongst the ranks. And what happens? Massa locks them up, and then you got sisters that can't wait to get into the employment positions of keeping them locked up. I see now why some of these women love being corrections officers. I get it now. They love these corrections officers because, they love being corrections officers so they can work around these violent inmates. It's hybristophilia. I've known it. One, it puts these men under their control directly, but then also they get dug out by only the most violent and the most niggerish. This isn't stopping. But it also shows you one other thing. It shows you a type of hypocrisy. See, by law, he can't consent. So this means that these same women that say they're strong, independent, don't need no man, and also say that they would absolutely never approach a man, propose to a man, would never do anything or take any initiative for a man in their life, will take initiative in their lives to put themselves in positions to where they can make the ultimate approach, legally speaking, on a man in chains. So while you, a free man, can't do nothing for them, can never do enough for them, a man who's locked up in chains and ain't got nothing will have women bringing him the cell phone he needs to continue having something, and will make approaches to this man, even if he's the one spitting game to them. A lot of inmates think it doesn't make a difference if I spit game to these staff women, these correctional staff. It doesn't make a difference. They're not interested. So this means that when these staff want these dudes, they have to say something to these cats. They got to initiate. By law, they're initiating because by law, he can't consent. So they're willing to make the ultimate non-consensual approaches to get some ding-a-ling from the exact kind of man that they're trying to tell you are of no value and no benefit to them. The war is against the black man that dares to behave in such a way that does not get himself locked up. And all Keisha can do, shout out to AC for that, all Boom Chic and Bon Quisha can do is say, well, you ain't gonna never get no punani acting like that. And more you brothers are saying, we don't want your funky punani anyway. And that's why I have to tell you, we really don't have as many options as we say we do. We are attractive and we could have as many options as we think. Arab women have a thing for black men, although they'll listen to their families. What's another one? Indian women may like black men, but their people are a damn problem. Same with Pakistani women. Bangladeshi women are not. They're actually pretty egalitarian towards us. We know the continent is becoming problematic. It's as if the parts of the continent that were already problematic are influencing the other parts that were not problematic. So that's out, unless we can get a list of where they're still traditional. South America has issues depending on where you go. It could go either way. But scopolamine is becoming a popular way and means of them to rob dudes, which shows in a nutshell that it still comes down to the fact that despite their own sexuality, they would much rather rob and not give you any than to take some anything of value in exchange for giving you some trim. You think, okay, they might be able to get some ding-a-ling and some dough. And no, they hate the ding-a-ling so much, they'd rather just rob you and steal everything. That's another way of saying that your sexuality is of a negative value, which they're doing to anybody, locals, whites, blacks, anyone. So at least it's not just discrimination against you, but that's still dangerous for you, even if you're going down there trying to find a wife. However, the part of the planet where things are still generally pretty good for us is Southeast Asia. And I don't want brothers trying to ruin stuff like that either. And apparently some of these passport pookies are now making their way to Southeast Asia and giving a bad name. And I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, whenever you do that, you are creating the situation that Boom Shika and Bonquisha want for you. See, they're going to Southeast Asia to try to give and depict a certain image of you into the minds of the women there. But if you are a passport pookie and you go to these places, you are going to do their work for you. I mean, you're going to do their work for them. And you're going to do it against not only yourself, but against responsible black men who go to these places and actually could live there or somewhere nearby and could start their families there. And once you are not welcome there anymore, at least not maritally and reproductively, your options are going to be pretty much nobody but Boom Shika, and you already know what you got to do and be for her to be an option. You got to be Darius Tyson. And like I said, he admitted to being the top blood gang member in the state of North Carolina. So that means that you got to climb to the top. Not only do you have to get into a lifestyle of niggerish stereotypicality and jigabosity, but you got to climb to the top of porch monkeyism. I'm not using these terms because I'm against us. No, I'm using these terms because that's what they're trying to be. That's what these sistren want. And you got to climb to the top of that because not every blood gang member is out there smashing a bunch of chicks either. No, they did this for the top blood gang member. He could be behind bars and ain't offering nothing, and they'll turn around and help him to keep doing what he's doing. And then have his babies. Come on now. They know how bad they are, and they want to limit you to them and only them. Completely on their terms. We told you they want what Massa had. Well, Massa had breeding farms. Massa could dig out his wife, and then he could go to the breeding farms, and if he wanted to, dig out some of the women there. Well, what those sisters want now? I remember I call them sisters because they're sisters to each other. What some of them want is for you to be that breeding farm. They can go and let Massa dig them out, and then they go to you and pick one of you whenever the most gladiator amongst you when they want someone to dig them out. That's not Massa. They want that kind of option. But in order for them to have that option, they want you to have none, except the one they say. And that is, it ultimately, when you give them power like that, Queen Nzingah shows you what kind of power or what they will do with that power, what will be the results. Pit you against each other in gladiator fashion, smash the winner, and then if they have enough gladiators to do this to, smash the winner at night, but then kill and execute the winner the next morning. And start the process over again so that they can have a new gladiator digging them out every night. That's what Queen Nzingah did. Look her up. While they're out here today insisting on smashing the top gang members that are locked up for some of the most violent things, while they're doing that at this point, know that what they want to do is build what Queen Nzingah built when it came to men. Know that while that white man's fists, elbows, knees, and everything else, every other act of violence is more precious to her than your love, kindness, provision, protection, and problem solving, that also, in addition, you are worthless. You are not worth her making an approach to or proposing to. But she will work her butt off to qualify to get a corrections job so that she can make an approach to and legally make the ultimate approach without the consent of a man that ain't doing nothing but violence. But you, the regular responsible man, are not worth that kind of effort. Yeah. Know that. Because you're not willing to be one of those gladiator niggas. And she can sit up and use in a gladiator battle to feed her ego and then dispose of the next day with another gladiator. That's why. I hope that this explains it. Thank you for listening as always. Black Heart, Black Mind, Black Out. Assalamu alaikum, Black Heterosexual, Non-Select Male Pound because they don't like it. Black Patriarchy until extinction of Judgment Day. Thank you for flying with us again here on Jet Black Airways, where the phrase Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.